show. I'm your host, Victoria Turner, and this is Powerful People of San Diego. We are bringing you all of the best vintners and vineyards in San Diego County, but there is a new set of vineyards that you haven't heard about. These are the vineyards on Highway 94, and to discuss them, we have in our studio today the owner of
Casi Cielo Winery.
Casi Cielo Winery. Thank you, Greg Manis. Thanks for coming to the show.
Thank you for having us. We appreciate it.
That's wonderful. And I see you brought Rick Lytle.
Yes, Rick is
Nice
with
to
us
meet you.
in the house.
In the house, yeah. So you both work out there.
Yeah, we do. We do a lot of stuff together. We cover a lot of grounds, and we do everything together from farming to winemaking to pouring at events across the county and running the tasting rooms.
You do tons of stuff. So first, let's do the big picture stuff. Why are there so many fabulous wineries growing out off the 94 corridor?
Well, I think is several different things. The elevation starts at about 1,000 feet and goes up to about 3,000 feet, which is really perfect for a coastal influence of the ocean breezes to come off the Pacific. Cuts right over the city into the mountain ranges. We get tons of fog banks that roll in. It's gorgeous up there. And then also, as the grapes ripen, you get a little bit of the heat coming off of the desert area, so you get that balance of power and shift of power of hot and cold, and that's what grapes like, and the soil's real good up there too.
So Casi Cielo is one of the oldest vineyards out in that area. It was started by Paul and Marie Vesco and Herman Salerno.
Yeah, that's the old school original wine growers out there. Back in the early 70s. Matter of fact, we bought one of the bottles from the 1970s here.
Which one?
And that Herman.
Right there with the flower on it.
Can you grab it?
This one?
Yeah, that one right there.
All right.
Yeah, so here you go. So this is a Paul Vesco original. This one was actually made, the note says, it was made in 1977.
Wow.
So this is an old bottle of wine, but our estate, Casi Cielo Winery, was making wines since 1977 as home winemakers, and now we're professional winemakers with a boutique winery licensure.
Wow. So you came to San Diego in '91, and you met this wonderful woman, Paula.
Dr. Paula Manis, the joy of my life. She's been instrumental in doing all the brainy stuff for the background. She's super smart, super intelligent, and
yet she married you.
And yet
Go
she
figure.
married me.
Go figure.
I don't know why, but she did.
So she liked the wine and the fact that you cooked.
She liked the fact that I was a chef for many years, and she likes wine, and I guess I got her drunk and married her.
Oh. And what's your story with your wife?
Oh, my wife and I actually met in Adak, Alaska.
No kidding.
We were both in the Navy. I was Naval Aviation. She was a construction battalion.
And how did that lead you to wine?
We ended up in San Diego both at the same time. We transferred down here together.
Yes.
And we ended up renting a property from Greg and PJ.
I see. And then what? We had 150 Cabernet Sauvignon plants on property, and Greg told me that if you could do a good crop with these 150 Cabernet Sauvignon, I'll knock some off the price of the rent. Oh, fantastic.
So being a farm boy from Kansas, I said, sure, not a problem.
And it's wine, come on.
Yes.
Yeah, worked good for me, worked good for him. So that was one of the starts of our friendship.
And you've been together ever
business.
since.
Yes.
That's great. But when you, how did you start with Casi Cielo?
Casi Cielo, we had done a lot of renovations on the property that in Lines Valley that Rick and his wife were living at. And my wife was on the internet doing her massive giant brain research, and she said there's a winery for sale in Hamul, and I was just starting to dabble into winemaking at the time. So I said, well, we own this house, let's just go look at it. So I went over there, and I about frickin' fainted. I gotta have this place. I knew it needed $500,000 in renovations, and it took us 10 years to do that. But we were able to liquidate the other property and then take proceeds and open up Paul and Herman's original dream. I had met with Mrs. Vesco, who sold me the home when she was 94, very kind woman. And then she led me on the trail of all of the people that had been there over the years. The mayor had been there, and city council people, and professional athletes, all kinds of stuff, long time ago, before wine even came to San Diego. So here we go. Can we muster enough energy? Can we muster enough vision to pick up this big dream they had and put it together. And it took us 10 years to do it, and we've been licensed since 2015 as Casi Cielo Winery in Humboldt.
But you couldn't just take the grapes, the vines that Salerno and Vesco put in. You had to.
Right. So
those were all cabs, right?
Yeah, those were all a Durif vine, and those are known as a form of Syrah. They're called Petite Syrah, which makes a wonderful inky wine that people love. But if you're going to open up a winery, you can't serve one wine unless you're Silver Oak. So we're not Silver Oak. So we planted 8 varietals of red, and we have 6 varietals of white. Have about an acre and a half of vines growing in multiple levels, going down from the top of the mountain down. It's gorgeous, beautiful views up there. And then we make all of the wines, venting and bottling on site.
On site.
And we design our own labels. And
these are the labels you have. They're all so different.
Yeah, they're different because we're artists and stuff like that. So.
Well, your whole life is covered with artistic endeavors, from being a chef to being a winery, and then other things that you do at your winery include
quilting.
Well, yeah, look at this.
That's gorgeous.
I have a family member, Kathy Cleveringa, and she's also the tasting room management staff and events coordinator. She's also a very talented seamstress, and she also sews these baby quilts and different things like that. She makes those for different people to buy, or donates them to organizations for cancer children.
Bless her heart. So, and you guys help out, you and your wife help out in the vineyards and at the winery as well.
Yes, we help harvest, help plant, also into events. My wife and I will go in and pour and help bring things to the event and take things back to the vineyard afterwards.
You do the hard work.
Yes.
He shakes a lot of hands.
Yes. Customer service, I got it. And what's your favorite thing to pour?
Oh, I like the Moscato.
Yay.
We call it the lovebirds. So it's a non-sweet Moscato.
Really? So
Yeah.
that's very popular then.
Oh, everybody that tastes that says, it should be a dessert wine. And I tell them, I said, we don't add sugar.
No.
So this is the sweetness from the grape, and they love it.
And for some reason, they start kissing after they have their sip.
Oh,
so
that's
I don't
tough.
know. We call it lovebirds. What can I tell you?
So what kind of questions are very popular when you pour?
The number one question is when people come in, they go, well, we're here for wine tasting. Are we going to taste whites or reds? And I tell them, I says, you're going to be here for a treat because we have a heavenly wine tasting. We start you off with the whites, and we add cheese and jelly to enhance the whites. Then we go into the fruit wines, and from there we go into the reds, and we include chocolate with that, which everybody
Ghirardellis.
walks out going, my, this is heavenly.
This is a good thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it really is heaven.
Speaking of which, you have something for me, huh?
We do. We brought you a little something. We not only have a vineyard out there, but we
Yes.
also have a fruit orchard and nut orchard. So
And you
we
make-
make our own orchard jelly.
Orchard
and
jelly.
vineyard jellies
This
as
is
well.
lemon and honey.
That's right. We
And
have
then-
Sangiovese jelly and Cabernet Sauvignon jelly. And
So this is this is
Petit
pretty
Verdot
red
jelly.
stuff. Wow.
yeah, it goes great on toasts and bagels and cream cheese.
And what is that one?
This one is the Tuscany wine blend.
Oh, very popular. So you're telling me somebody came in and bought what?
Actually, just before Christmas, this guy came in and he bought 12 and filled up a whole case box. And I'm going, you must have a really sweet tooth. And he goes, no. These are all Christmas gifts that he was going to send to his relatives.
So that's you have so many parts of your winery. You also have animals, something near and dear to my heart.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah. So we have been started off originally working with the San Diego Humane Society, and this was 10 years ago or a decade ago when things were different in San Diego, as we all know. And so we ended up homing horses, alpacas, llamas, goats, some extra dogs, turtles. We had chickens, we had birds. And then as the economy straightened back out, we were able to rehome a lot of these animals. But we love it. We have alpacas at the winery.
So if I want to bring my kids out,
Yeah, we encourage parents to bring their children out because we not only have animal rescue where the adults and children can interact with the pets, but they can also feed them, learn a bit about them. And we also teach young children farming techniques out at the winery as well.
Wow, you guys are just a treasure in our economy.
We don't sleep.
You never sleep. And that's why you're here today.
We haven't slept yet.
So you all belong to a lot of the winery associations and other associations here in town, including San Diego Vintners Association.
Right. There's quite a few different pockets of wine growers and areas. There's the Mount Helix wine growers. There's Alpine. There's Blossom Valley. There's El Cajon. There's Jamul. There's Del Zuro. There's Portrero. So although many of those organizations don't have their own official setup like the San Diego County Vintners Association, which is a pocket which covers all 117 licensed boutique wineries in the area. So we just we work with new growers, we consult, we design things for helping people. We've kind of been the cheerleaders for the last decade or so, helping people to come out and start wineries. You can make beer or you can make wine. We like making wine.
We like making wine. Well, and frankly, the Wine Association in San Diego are very different from other locations. You guys all get along as a community. You're not really fighting as competitors.
What do you think on that, Rick?
Well, actually, it's more like a co-op. Because we're out there to help each other. And if someone has a problem, you can call us and we'll see if we have the answer, or if we don't have the answer, we'll recommend you call someone else that might have the answer.
So what kind of problems have you guys dealt with helping other people?
Shortages of water,
yes.
types of plants to grow, what type of yeasts are you using for winemaking, access to barrel coopers, long-term storage, soil issues, amending soil issues.
So what kind of soil is out off the 94?
Pretty much in the Jamul range, which runs a pocket down through Del Zuro, down to Portrero, different places down there. It's all DG. It's decomposed granite, and it's a fast drain, which is okay, but you also need to amend it with a lot of sustainable organic compost. We bring it in by the truckloads, not by the bag. We bring it in by the truckloads.
Big trucks.
And we amend it around all of our, not only the vineyards, but the orchards and the nut trees and the rose gardens love it, so we got to have those in there as well. So.
But the soil makes all the difference, doesn't it?
It does. The soil is what gives you the flavor of the wine, so it's going to give you the minerality, it's going to give you the different flavors in it, and then your final touches are done like in a kitchen where you have your chef people prepping all day for you, and at the last piece of time, the winemaker goes in and does his magic and does his little things.
Well, you're the winemaker. It's your
I'm
palate.
I'm one of them. Yeah, thank you. I have John and Liz Kiley, our winemakers, and help us out at the vineyard as well. I'd like to shout out to John and Liz.
Go, John and Liz.
And so they've been with us also since we moved into Casi Cielo 16 years ago.
So how did you find them?
They said they smelt wine in the air, and they followed their nose down the hill from Diamond Jack's down to Casi Cielo, and they ended up here and been a God savior to us. It's been a lot of changes to get the adobe home. It's a almost 50-year-old home now.
No kidding.
And it took all of us a lot of effort to get it to where it is, so that San Diego community can come out and enjoy it at their leisure now.
So are you open on just the weekends or during the week?
Right now, just on the weekends. We're in our 3rd anniversary now.
Congratulations!
Thank you.
Yay!
We do private events during the week with advance notice, and it needs to be on groups of 30 or under.
As many of the vineyards do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And one of the other ways you guys give back is the Trailblazer Awards. Talk to me about that. How does that affect
Trailblazer Awards. Let's see. That was started, what do you think, Rick?
2013.
No, 2013 was when it was started. Some of the first inductees were Diane Jacob and Terry Kearns of Ramona Ranch, and Miriam Raftery, who helps publicize wineries in East County Magazine. And so all of these people that you bounce into, including yourself, are people that help us to get the word out. And we just we talk wine and fun and different events and music and pairing food and wine. And so the Trailblazer Awards were started as a way, I thought, it would be really cool because a lot of the people that were training this second wave of growers coming in, all of us are younger, were these older people. And so a lot of the older people, I have been fortunate enough to get them Trailblazer awards, and many of them have passed since then.
Like, for example, who?
Herman Salerno has passed, and several of the older...
Didn't you tell me he was an opera singer?
Herman was an opera singer. If anybody's hearing this interview, they know Herman Salerno.
Yes.
He used to, what did he used to do in the
He
spring
used to
every
wake
year?
up his vines in the spring by singing opera to them.
Really?
Yes.
Ah, I wish I'd been there for that. I wonder what opera he would sing.
I don't know.
But apparently it worked.
But somebody told me he was always in his robe and he had nothing underneath it.
Oh.
So I don't know. It was a different type of
It
opera
was a different
back then.
time, yes. So you guys can go
Herman
out
and Rose Salerno,
Yes.
great people.
So you guys can go out there and sing and see if it works.
We can try it.
Yes.
I don't
Or-
sing well. Rick's the singer, I think.
Yeah, anything on iPod.
Good, come out and sing.
Yeah, so Trailblazers were designed, started out at a couple of smaller vineyards where we started things, and then it went to a couple other places. St. Madeleine Sophie Center helped us empower it another year or two, and then the San Diego County Chamber of Commerce has picked us up and partnered with us for the last 5 years, and we've been holding the Trailblazer Awards at the Elks Club in El Cajon, which is coming up in a couple of months.
Oh, any secrets about who's going to be?
They know who they are, but we can't let
You
it out.
can't tell. Not yet.
But it's really, really talented, amazing people that get the Trailblazers Awards who've made a big difference in this wine industry.
Big shout out to Diane Jacobs, who
Diane Jacobs helped many, many people in the area. I stumbled into her at a Chamber of Commerce meeting and found out she lives in Hamul area out there, and she was instrumental in helping a lot of start the boutique winery movement.
Yes.
Which started in kind of the pocket area, but it spread quickly. It went across the whole county. It's agriculturally zoned properties in the East County on the A70, A72 properties. And so the boutique winery was passed. The start of it was part of the team with some other growers and spokespeople that helped to amend things just in case fires came through, and where can we get extra grapes, and what's the percentages, and all of those things. They've been modified many times over the last 10 years to
which has
fit
allowed
things.
many more people to have boutique wineries. They lowered the costs and the barriers to creating a small boutique winery.
That's correct. For every winery that there is in San Diego County, there's probably 3 times as many grape growers.
Yes.
So you
I
have
did
to be able to source grapes, so you talk your neighbors into growing grapes and different things, and so
How does that conversation go?
it goes pretty well because they like to take their lawn out because they don't want to water their lawn anymore, and we help them design the vineyards, and they put it in on drip systems so they save water. And then they come by and help us make their wine down the road, and everybody's happy.
Everybody is happy. Do you go out and help with that as well?
Oh, yes.
What do you do?
Go out, take pictures, evaluate the area, and people who actually come in and do wine tasting will say, wow, I wish I had a vineyard. And I ask them all, do you have
Funny you
an
mention
acre or something? No.
I'm so glad you said that.
Yeah.
And suddenly they suck them in and they become winemakers.
Yeah, we also have a vineyard in a box.
What's a vineyard in the box?
That's
a cool
it's a
thought.
brainchild. When you're most creative when you're having a glass of wine. So
Yes.
a lot of our greatest concepts and thoughts come from having one glass of wine.
There's
only,
science
of course.
behind that. There's science behind that.
But a lot of people have designated portions of their property, let's say 10 feet by 50 feet. We can design a double parallel water saving with vineyard to covers maybe 20 vines, 25 vines. Run them in tandem parallel, and we run it with underground water systems that save 60% more water than regular drip systems. And it's funny you mention that because we were told, Rick and I were told maybe 6 or 8 years ago, it's too hot to grow white grapes out in the
I've
East
always
County.
heard that. You cannot grow white grapes in East County.
Right.
Can't be done. Can't
So
be
I
done.
thought about it, and then on a trip back from Napa Valley one time, I was driving by a vineyard area there, and I saw these quarter-inch lines coming off the water line, and they were going into the ground. I'm like, what are these guys doing? So it ends up that's a company called Deep Root Irrigation, and they have underground water soakers that go right to the roots of the plants. So you absolutely can grow white grapes here in San Diego County.
Oh, right. So
You just have to do it a little bit differently. They like water a little deeper than a little higher.
So you like a challenge. You said, oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
You watch me grow white grapes, buddy.
And we've successfully done it. Yes.
And are other people replicating your successes?
Yep. There's Chenin Blanc growers out there. There's Viognier. There's Viognier growers out there.
Just everything.
Albarino, just it's all coming up. It's just technology and rootstock and different stuff that you have to be aware of to successfully grow. You just have to adapt to the challenges.
And so there's 6 or 7 wineries out the Highway 94 corridor. So if I were going to spend, say, a weekend
Yes.
doing wine tasting, I could jump on the corridor. In
Right.
fact, what is the name of your website for that? I love this.
Okay, so this one here for
There you
it's called the Wineries on Highway94.com.
I love that. The wineries on
And,
highway94.com.
Pretty much exactly what it is. It's
Yes.
the Wineries on Highway94.com. And so there's also, we have brochures. This brochure is also online, so you can follow it. And it's Google friendly, so as you're traveling down the 94 corridor, which starts in Hamul, and it goes all the way down to Campo. And
right.
there's several more new wineries that are in process of joining. But you can use your Google on your phone, and it tells you where the different restaurants and gas stations are out there.
And you can
stuff
spend
as
the
well.
night out there?
There's overnight guest accommodation places scattered throughout that area, as well as restaurants for Uber Eats and DoorDash and wonderful
Right.
stuff like that. They'll bring you out
But of course,
picnic stuff and
this
whatever.
should start at Casi Cielo, of course.
We're the first stop.
Yeah, we're the first stop.
So why not stop?
Because you have the alpacas and the dogs. Why
Right,
wouldn't and the
yes.
wine and the jam? Why not stop there first?
Yeah. Well, we got macadamia nut trees and we have 45-year-old olive trees, and so we're an actual working farm. And it started as a farm. Part of it's vineyard, part of it's orchard, part of it's different things that we do. And we also will be bringing in students in the near future to teach them a little bit more about the vineyard business, growing plants, how to interact with animals at a young age. We encourage parents, like I said, to bring their children out, and we walk them on a walking tour through the farms, and we grow our own horseradish, and we do all kinds of wonderful stuff out there.
I'm going to ask you both the same question. Where do you see the vineyard movement going in the next couple of decades?
Let you handle that one.
Oh, growing and growing, because once you get into it, once you get your hands wet or your feet wet, whatever you want to say, is the
Well, if it's
kinda-
in wine, I don't care.
Yeah.
Hands, feet, the whole.
Grape stomps, we do
Grape
those.
stomps.
Grape
yes,
stomps,
yeah.
of course you do.
So once you get into it, once you get involved in it, and if you like what you do, then you like to share it. So
Right.
I see it's going to grow. It has to.
Yeah.
It's going to grow exponentially. So the more you do, the more you like, and the more you like, the more you do.
Well, if you can put a 50-foot strip of vineyards in my house, I'm there.
We're there.
You're there. So where do you see it going?
I see it to continue to boom. I've been at it since the very, very beginning. Been to a lot of meetings, city planning events, licensure things. It started off with maybe there was 24 wineries that were kind of interested. Many of them were already home wine growers, and then they commercialized or went up to boutique. We're at 117 boutique winery licensures now in the county. Some of us are aging and get a little bit older. I see the importance of our industry is to bring in a new generation of growers that are younger, that are interested, because winemakers are like rock stars.
Indeed
the kids
they
look
are.
up to us. So if we can bring them in and get them learning about things early,
Get 'em
it's
trained
all
up.
better for San Diego
Get 'em
and
trained.
for the long run. Right.
And what about you and Joe Beth?
Oh, we're going to continue on with the way we like to help with the around the vineyard, and also all the events that we do.
Well,
So,
fun. So you
yeah.
just party all the time, basically.
He's a party animal.
He's a party.
Well,
I can see that in you. Yeah, yeah.
We have the San Diego Mission de Alcala 250th anniversary coming
right.
up in about a month or so.
You guys
And,
have awards.
We'll
So
be
many.
pouring wines at that event. So lots of stuff going on.
I want to talk about all the awards that you guys have. This is an appreciation from the St. Pius Catholic Church.
Yep.
Then we have Mission San Diego recognizing you. We have that's opening, and there's like half. Look, this whole thing over there, the Trailblazer Awards.
Trailblazer Awards.
You have
We've
awards
got,
up the gazebo, and this one in the. What is that pretty one?
That's the one of the Trailblazers Awards. I started the thing, and the people that now run it decided to give me one.
Oh,
Because I was giving them to everybody else, so they gave me one.
and then I see awards on your wine. You have award-winning wines.
We do. We have gold medals from different LA areas and from San Diego vintners, and then also from Lum Eisenman's Ramona wine tasting events. We've got numerous golds, silvers, bronzes. So we've been pretty fortunate with that.
Because you worked hard to turn out a great product.
It's all about being acutely aware of what you're doing. You really have to focus on every little detail in this industry to get noticed, because there's many wineries out there, as you well know, so you have to be a little bit different. Got to think outside the box.
Yes.
And so you are. We are here today with the amazing vintners, Casi Cielo.
Cielo.
We've got Greg Manis and Rick Lytle. And what would you like to tell the general public that they don't know already about vineyards in general and your winery in particular?
Well, we could all use the client support. Many San Diegans do not know that there's this many wineries out here. So spreading the word, get on your Facebooks, get on your YouTubes, come on out and visit us. Every business needs support out there. Once you come out, you'll get hooked. You'll want to come out all the time. It's just something different for you and your family who come in from out of town to do, besides go to SeaWorld. Come on out to Wine World.
Wine World, particularly on the 94 corridor.
Yes, that's
Yes.
right.
And what would you like to say to people?
Well, actually, what I like is a lot of vineyards have the wine clubs.
Oh, talk to me
And
about
I
wine
noticed
clubs.
that a lot of people, well, a lot of vineyards that I go to for a wine club is that you join the wine club, and then every 3 months a box of wine shows up on your doorstep. Well,
Right.
we do it a little bit differently.
How do you do it?
Because we like to invite the people, when we do an issue, to come to the vineyard
Wait,
and
what's-
have dinner with us.
Wait, what's an issue?
Issue is when, like, we're going to
Issue out new wines.
we're going to issue out this new wine.
Okay. Oh, look, it's got lips on it and everything.
Right.
That's right.
Don't wait up. I love
Yeah.
the
So
titles.
good, somebody kissed it.
So we're going to issue that wine
Yes.
tonight.
Okay.
So we'll invite the wine club members to
Right.
the vineyard, and tonight we're having
Do a
pizza.
little food and wine and some different Italian stuff, and away we go.
Wait,
So-
what's up this?
That way you get to taste the wine
and meet the winemakers and do all of the stuff
before it shows
that's
up
important.
on your doorstep. Yeah.
That's amazing. So talk to me about the other labels. We have 48 seconds left. Tell me about the other labels that you have magically created out of your artisticness.
Yeah, so it's a hodgepodge of different things. We like our new fruit wine labels. That's the most recent one we designed, and that's from orchard fruit grown on the property. We ferment it, do everything there. But the product is called Kick-Ass Fruit Wines,
Oh, I
Country
love that.
Fruit Wines.
Yes, I love that.
And we make carbonated sangrias out of there at the winery. We have a blueberry, we have a cherry, raspberry, different ones. We do
All
a
over.
tangerine.
You're all over the place.
So we're all over the place. The labels are designed just by whatever inspiration is around you at the time. Same thing with